But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic. And what we're doing here is we're taking a little bit of a break from the Marvel discussion. We're going to get back to Marvel and, well, Sony for the next one. But it's Venom's a Marvel thing.
Still Marvel.
But what we're going to dive into right now is, so this trailer came out like Monday.
Yeah.
Right after we recorded our podcast last week. And I was like, okay, I know what discussion we're going to have for this. We're talking Ready Player One. And the new trailer, if you have not seen it already, I'm going to put a link in the description. Reason why usually like Johnny and I for the Marvel films will react to it and actually show it to you guys. Reason why we're not here is I'm going to be completely transparent. I don't want a copyright claim. Yeah. And that's the main thing that we're trying to avoid here. So exactly. I'm just going to have that down below in the description for you. Watch it, then come back to the discussion. Here's the main question I want to ask with this, because this is really the first big look that we've seen this before. I know I was excited for it even before we got the first teaser trailer. Yeah. Now we get our first big look. It's Nostalgia City, basically.
Oh, hell yeah.
With all the references. I want to ask you this, Johnny. Will it be any good? Will it be any good, or will it be, it had some nostalgia stuff, but it could have been better?
Well, as of what we've seen right now with this trailer and the last one, I mean, a good part of it, yes, is going to be the nostalgia. I mean, just throwing out stuff right there is, I saw Iron Giant in there, the DeLorean's in there.
There's Iron Giant, there's a Gundam, Overwatch, Street Fighter, Battletoads, Chucky. There are tons of the DeLoreans.
And I'll
in this,
say
so
this: it's not necessarily all nostalgia per se.
Well, it's things
but it's nostalgia slash pop culture reference city.
Especially for us, except for like the Overwatch, most of the stuff is like, holy shit, I remember that as a kid. Like the Iron Giant, I remember going to see that in the theaters as a kid. In the wee little itty bitty theaters before we had these nice fancy seats.
I purposely bought it because I saw it in the $5 bin. It's like, I need this. It needs to be part of my life.
It was a good movie, but
it was a fantastic movie.
Here's the thing I fear with it. Yes. And this is my only fear with this movie. And it's kind of a similar thing that I brought up in the last segment when we talked about the villains in the MCU. Yeah. By the way, if you're on YouTube, have not checked that out, go ahead and check it out on our YouTube channel. Here's the only thing that this movie, kind of the pitfall, not really, I don't know if I want to call it a pitfall, but something that it can't get around is like, okay, so your storyline is that I go into this virtual world, which is the Oasis.
Yes.
This movie then is going to completely ride or die, in my sense, on the CGI and what I think as I am in this world watching it, because basically, what is it, Wade Watts? Is that his name?
Yes.
Because his dad wanted to be like Peter Parker.
Yeah, the alter ego of a superhero.
Which I was like, huh. He's like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. I'm like, huh. So the double letter
double name,
thing.
Yeah.
We're not going Bruce Wayne here, and we're not going Clark Kent, where it's two different letters. But here's what I'm back to my point.
Same sound.
Because we're going into this Oasis.
Yeah.
And even his character when he's in the Oasis is completely CGI.
Yeah.
This movie to me is going to ride or die on its CGI.
On the speed cycle?
Well, not the speed cycle. On the CGI of how is that going to do when Wade Watts is in and other characters are in the Oasis? Am I going to be sitting in this going, wow, that is awesome? Or am I going to be sitting there going, you're trying to do too much? A film that had the same kind of thing. It wasn't completely CGI, but I know both you and I had a problem with it. Valerian.
Yeah.
Is this film going to fall into, I'll say it, the same pitfall as Valerian did?
Well, the thing with Valerian, and maybe it's going to be the same when we get and go see the theater, Valerian had a very bland story, if much of one at all. Whereas this one looks like it's got at least a shit ton of action. Just when you're inside the Oasis.
Oh, Valerian had action too.
It had action
too. It just had
too.
a shit story.
It didn't have it had a very bland story.
Yeah.
It's like
very predictable.
It's like
story
taking
too.
a piece of white bread and eating it.
Yeah, let's put it this way. When Ricky can predict your story, it's too predictable.
Yes.
Like usually I'm going off on tangents like, oh, what if that, and it's completely wrong. But when I go off on that tangent and I go, oh shit, I was correct.
Yeah.
That means your film was too predictable.
Yeah. But the cool part is at least it's not all in the Oasis, because you see parts where he's actually like
in the real world.
In the real
with
world.
The rebellion.
With the rebellion, and they're actually fighting, and like you got the villainous man with the gun. But it's kind of cool because at least right now we have a general idea of what the story is. Everyone's part of the Oasis. Everyone goes into the Oasis to get away from everything, and that's where you can actually have a real life because it looks like the world's overpopulated.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
You got like stacked on stacked of what are they mobile homes,
like shacks and stuff.
Anyways, but then I guess the guy who created the Oasis dies. He leaves an Easter egg in there, which is a great.
I always love when they throw in the stuff of like, if you're watching this, I'm dead.
Right? That's funny. I like that little trope thing. But what I think is hilarious now is there's an Easter egg that's an Easter egg.
Yeah. You gotta find the Easter egg.
You have to find the Easter egg.
And there's gonna be here's one thing off topic.
Get $1 trillion and you own the Oasis.
Because Steven Spielberg is producing this.
Yes.
Do we get do we get E.T.? Do we get other Spielberg references in this film?
That'd be nice. We should. I don't see why not. I mean, especially if I'm producing it, I would want to throw my stuff in there.
Well, because that's
all my references: Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
People were saying like,
Spielberg.
well,
that's Spielberg.
How's the DeLorean in there? Because the DeLorean's not owned by Warner Brothers. It's owned by, I think it's Universal is who did the Back to the Futures. But they did kind of like a Spider-Man thing. Hey, we want like Spielberg.
Can we use this? Spielberg
could also be like, hey, like my movie, like I did the movie for you guys. Can we use this? But like, are we going to get things like Jaws? Are we E.T., Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones?
That would be awesome.
Do we get, I'm going to throw it out there, do we get a Schindler's List reference in there? I hope not either. We get
that one.
I'm trying to look at, he's done a ton of them, but mainly Hook. Do we get a Hook? I would love to see just, you know what? Screw it. You've got Captain Hook from Hook.
Yeah. By the way, I want to reiterate, I accidentally said Star Wars earlier. I did not mean to, so that's not going to be in there. It probably won't. But unless they made a deal of some sort.
Here's the thing I want to bring it back to. Yeah. And this is kind of relating it to what I brought up with the Valerian thing. So Valerian's problem, amazing art style.
Yes.
Like, man, not art style, but like it looked visually beautiful.
It was amazing, beautiful.
However, shit story.
Yes.
And didn't relate to the characters. And check out our movie review. You'll get everything that I thought of it.
Yeah.
My fear and my only fear with this movie is when they're in the Oasis, are they going to bank so much on this CGI that it falls into the same problem where it's like, hey guys, look at this. Look at how amazing our CGI is. But the story falls short. Or there's like, is it going to be that same thing where they focus so much on trying to make it look beautiful that the rest kind of is like, are we going to get like oh, well, when they were in the Oasis, I didn't like it. But the story outside of the Oasis, that was really cool. Or is it going to be on the other side of like, man, the story was awesome, but we spent most of the time in the Oasis and the CGI, I don't know what it was with this, but I didn't like looking at that for so long. Because they can go on, like, it could fall on either side, or it could be the third option of, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's the third option because
I think we all are.
Because what it seems like, and I'm just going off again. I'm going off the trailer. It looks like there's going to be a shit ton of action inside the Oasis, and when we're outside, there's still going to be action, but it's probably not going to hit nearly as hard because we're not in a CGI world. Whereas the Oasis is a CGI world.
I'm going to throw this at you, though.
No.
When you were watching the Valerian trailers, did you think it'd be a good movie?
I thought it'd be a good movie, but I mean, what they showed in Valerian, it looked like it was a, like, okay, they've just hit, like, I don't know, I'm trying to remember the Valerian ones, and I don't remember seeing like this, where, like, okay, there's action here, there's action here, and I can find the storyline, but it's not like all there yet. Now that all the details are there, where Valerian was just kind of already there, wasn't it?
Well, theirs was more like, look at this visually beautiful. Like they were showing you beautiful images.
That's true.
Like, wow,
a lot of them.
It looks like an amazing movie and get you hyped for it that way. I want to say this. I'm not saying Ready Player One is going to be bad. I'm not going on that limb.
Just worried.
I am just, well, it's not really a worry. It's just like, I feel like it's one of those things where you have that feeling where it's like, I've read this book once and I don't want to get burned by it again. I'll give this example, and Dave will love this.
Yeah.
It's like Destiny. And I buy Destiny 1 and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. You did not sell me a full game. I'm never going to spend my money on this again. Destiny 2 rolls around. I'm like, I'm not falling for that again. I've read this book once. I'm not reading that book again. Dave gets it. Dave, for about a month, you got to get Destiny 2, got to get Destiny 2, got to get Destiny 2. To where about, I want to say 2 months in, I was like, fine. You know what? Maybe my problem with Destiny the first time was that I didn't have someone to play with. Guess what? I played it for about 2 weeks. Because I tried, I was like, oh, it's an easy platinum, or it looked like an easy platinum. Haven't touched it since. Haven't even bought the expansion for it. And I mean, that is what I fear with this. Like Destiny 2, I should have, good game, should have never bought it. Got burned once, should have known what I was getting into. That's the only thing that you can call it a fear with this one, is am I going to come out of this movie looking back going, I've read this book once and it was Valerian, and I just got burned again. Of course, me and you were going to go see this.
Yes,
because we're going to give our review for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way we're going to avoid this movie. But that's the only thing I think of is, will this fall into that same pitfall that Valerian had?
Well, I'm going to hope not, just because, I mean, Valerian, out of anything, was visually stunning. But, I mean, the story was just flat. I didn't enjoy the storyline that much. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't enjoy it that much. Or I'm hoping, from what I'm seeing from this, is that I'm going to enjoy it, because it's like there's in the Oasis story and an out of the Oasis story, and then eventually they tie into each other.
Well, and that's the thing where it comes to the story. The thing that I think that'll be really interesting to how they play it is, it's completely like, when it comes to our main character of Watts, there's two things he could be fighting. Number one, obviously the corporation of like, they want to get the Easter egg, they want to own the Oasis so that they could basically use it as a corporation type thing. Yeah,
because it looks like they're like almost like a board for the Oasis, and the owner of the Oasis is the one who passed away. That's what it looks like.
And then the second part of, yes, he's a part of this rebellion type thing, and the I don't know the female character, but the redheaded female character, where she's like, well, welcome to the blah blah blah. Is it going to turn to where, yes, they're together, they're friends, but when the time comes, they're both going for the same thing. They're both going for that Easter egg. And will there be a second conflict of, hey, I'm fighting the corporation over here. Now I got to worry about this person that was also my friend because she wants the Easter egg for herself.
That's what I'm wondering, because
because will there be twists like that?
There could be. All I know is that it looks like he's not even like with the rebellion at first. He's not with anyone at first. He's just going for the Easter egg because maybe he doesn't even care about the Easter egg. Maybe he just likes the
He's just good at the game.
Exactly, because
there is a clip in there. It's like, who is this and how are they so good?
Yeah, exactly. The corporation's worried because he's getting closer and closer to the Easter egg than anyone else is. And so they're going after him, and then I guess whatever happens with his stuff pushes him into being part of the rebellion. So that'll be interesting.
Here's another thing. Do you think that, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Yes.
Do you think that we're just calling them the corporation just to make it kind of known which side we're talking about? Do you think they try to kill him in real? Well, obviously they do. Do you think them blowing up the buildings was them trying to kill him in real life?
Yes. That way, if you kill him in real life, he can't keep going for it.
True.
So
I want to ask you this, and this will kind of end up everything before we go into the Venom. We've seen a ton of Easter eggs, like I mentioned, DeLorean, Gundam, Iron Giant. There was a Street Fighter reference. There's Tracer from Overwatch, Harley and Joker, Iron Giant. Don't know if I said him already.
You can say him again.
What other do you have in your head any other characters that you would like to see in this? Battletoads, forgot to say. I saw the Battletoads in there. I think we saw a Chocobo as well. I think we did. I think that was
It may
a
have been,
Chocobo.
or someone's just riding an ostrich. I don't know.
Do you have any characters
hey.
in your head that you're like, I want to see this one in there, or characters of we could see in this film being Easter eggs and things to look out for?
Seeing as I don't know who they have ties to and who they're going to be able to get, I'm just excited to see who we're already getting. So, I mean, apparently,
Like I said, E.T.'s got to be in there.
Here's the thing: I'm seeing like people from what look like for Lord of the Rings. I'm seeing what looked like Freddy Krueger. So, I mean, who knows who else they're going to be able to get? Like how many like little deals they're making with everyone, saying, "Oh, hey, can we borrow this character for like 2 seconds of the film? That way we can have like all these nostalgic references because in this virtual world, people can be whoever the hell they want, et cetera, et cetera." Excuse me.
Like I said,
honestly,
E.T. I just want E.T. in this.
I want like not an homage, but a little snap back to the end of the first Jurassic Park where the T-Rex is roaring and the banner's falling. I want to see something like that.
What about this?
Huh.
What if biggest, like, under the rug, nobody knows about it, best kept secret, we get Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
That'd be
as
great.
a cameo in this.
That would be great.
Because Spielberg has done Indiana Jones, E.T., like I mentioned. Jaws might be a little bit hard to fit in there.
It would be.
Only because it looks like they're fighting in an ice-covered land, not
even
water.
ice. It looked like it's
like snowy. Like, my point is, it's nowhere near
land.
water. Nowhere near water.
It's land, yeah.
For Jaws to go to, unless they're over some ice and he just breaks through the ice, like breaks someone and like clamps them in the jaw
and just pulls them back under.
Yeah, just like and then pulls them right under the ice. That is the only time I would think we'd see Jaws, which is, I mean, not against completely what the Jaws is, but E.T., Indiana Jones, the big ones that I want to see. I want to turn it on to you guys, though. What are your guys' expectations for Ready Player One? What are you thinking of Ready Player One? And do you think right now, after one trailer, I know this is Overreaction City, one trailer, do you think it's going to be a good movie? Do you think it's going to be a bad movie? Do you think it's going to be in the middle? Let us know why down below in the comment section.